Welcome to our first Tech Tuesday video tutorial. I do want to give you guys some tools that you can integrate in your classroom, but I know that our time is precious and very limited, so I hope that this method with the video tutorials will accommodate everyone. One easy way to integrate technology in your classroom is to utilize a tool that most of your students already have access to daily, and that is their cell phone. Now, this may be a red flag for some of you, but the reality is that these devices are readily available and our students are rarely without them. So what better way to reach our students? One of the tools I use in my classroom is Remind101, which is a safe way for teachers and coaches to text message students and stay in touch with parents. It's very easy to set up and it's easy to maintain, and also it's free. I use it to send reminders about quizzes and tests and project due dates, and I can also send clarifications or corrections about assignments if I need to make some changes before I see my students again in class. Like I mentioned, it is a safe way to text your students. All of the phone numbers are kept private, so you will not see your students' phone numbers and they will not see yours. The messaging is one way, so students or parents cannot reply or send you a message. And all of the messages are saved and archived for future reference. Another thing that I think is important is you cannot message one student. You have to message the entire class, and you have to have at least 3 students in a class for the application to work. So to get started, we want to go to Remind101.com to register. Now, registration requires just a minimal amount of personal information to create your account. Once you get signed in, the first thing that's going to pop up is the box to set up your first class. But I'm going to jump over to the Remind101 dashboard to show you what it's going to start looking like once you get some classes set up. On the left-hand side, you'll see your classes. Now, I'm not using this just for my classes. I'm using it for UIL spelling and Stark reading contests so that I can send those students reminders or notifications without having to track them down or have frequent meetings. If I want to add a new class, I can click on Add a New Class and it will pop up. And this is what you'll see when you initially register for your account. So you'll type in the class name, and then you have to come up with a class code, and this does have to be unique, and it will tell you if the code is already taken, so you can just play around with it until you find something that actually works for you. Once you get a code that's available, just click Add. You're going to get the information that you need to give your students, which basically they're going to send a text message to this number with this message. Every teacher is going to have a different set of instructions, and you can also print those instructions, which actually goes into a little bit more detail. You can unsubscribe to a service at any time, and students and parents can also subscribe to email messages. So if you have some parents or students who, for whatever reason, don't want to receive the text messages, but they still want to receive the reminders, they can use this option. Now, one thing I do tell my students is that the standard text messaging rates apply. So if they don't have unlimited texting, they may want to use the email option. But I don't send a barrage of messages to my students, so it's usually not a problem. So once you have some students start to subscribe, you'll see their names down under subscribers. If you ever need to reprint the instructions, you can just click on Invite Students and that will pop up again for you. To send a message, you have 140 characters, which is similar to Twitter or other chat services and texting services. So you can set up your message. Whoops. And I can do 2 things after I get my message ready to send. I can go ahead and click send and it will send it immediately, or I can schedule for later, which is one of my favorite features of Remind101. So if your test is not till Friday, You can set up the reminder to go out on Thursday and pick a time so that the students can get the message when they get home so they can remember to study. So once you click that and you schedule it, it will show up down in your window down here. Once it's sent, it will show up over here under Sent. You can also send a message to multiple classes. So if you need to send a message to all of your students, you can add as many classes as you want and send a message to everyone. My students really appreciate the reminders, and it's very minimal effort on my part. So I hope that you can use this in your classroom, and if you have any questions or need help setting it up, please let me know. Email me, stop by, and I will be happy to help you.